Carbajal just destroyed Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, calling him straight out as incompetent to the job. And what you're about to see isn't partisan heat. It's a sitting member of Congress telling the truth out loud, that Hegseth is unfit for the job he holds and an embarrassment to the institution he's supposed to lead. Watch how fast the facade cracks the moment he's forced to give a straight answer. This is what incompetence looks like when it finally gets cornered.
It shouldn't come as no surprise that I have serious concerns with both the deployment of the National Guard and the Marines to Los Angeles. I served in the Marine Corps. We are trained to be war fighters, not for crowd control. Everyone here should be alarmed that the president has sent armed forces into a city against the wishes of a governor and mayor. I am concerned this administration is purposely escalating the situation with this step and politicizing our armed forces in the process. Let's call it for what it is. It's political theater. Hegseth, are the Marines in Los Angeles ordered to protect property by any means necessary?
Sir, I would say the ICE officers and police officers being attacked is not political theater. The National Guard and Marines,
just yes or no. Just yes or no.
The National Guard and Marines have the full authority to protect federal ICE agents.
Yes or no.
Just
can you just say yes or no? This isn't Fox anymore. Just yes or no.
They're there to protect federal agents and federal.
Another BS answer. Under the SRUF, the use of force, are Marines allowed to fire warning shots?
No.
Now that's more like it. Isn't that easy? Well, I'm going to beat this drum because you refuse to take responsibility. Will you take responsibility for having made a mistake? Not to mention, many people would say break the law in participating in the Signal group chat that included a journalist, your wife, your brother, where classified information was shared.
Sir, every way I communicate is authorized. Every way I communicate.
Okay, if you want to say that. I have called for your resignation. I didn't think you were qualified before your confirmation, and you have done nothing to inspire confidence in your ability to lead competently. You broke the law in sharing classified information, and in doing so, endangered the lives of our service members that you are responsible for. Your inability to hold yourself accountable makes you incapable to lead. This alone makes you unfit to be the Secretary of Defense. Secretary, do you think the United States should continue supporting Ukraine in its fight against Russia, a nation that is hostile towards the United States?
Well, as you know, sir, President Trump is committed to peace.
No, I just want yes or no answers. Today,
the United States has spent billions of dollars.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Over years.
Just yes or no. Can I get a yes or no out of you?
We continue to send.
Come on.
Presidential drawdown.
It's that easy. Kindergartners could give me a yes or no. Yes or no.
Yes, we support peace in Ukraine.
Come on. Is this really leadership? You're an embarrassment to the United States. If Russia invades NATO allies, are you going to recommend to the president that we fulfill our Article 5 obligations?
Well, Russia has not invaded NATO allies.
No.
President Trump has
No. I reclaim my time. Yes or no? It's that simple.
There's Article 5 in NATO, which we recognize.
So is the answer yes or no?
That's what Article 5 is, yes.
Good. I'm glad you brought yourself to saying yes. Do you think political allegiance to Trump is a requirement for serving our nation, either in uniform or a civilian in the department?
I'm incredibly proud, as are millions of Americans.
No. Not today, Hegseth. Yes or no?
Congressman, you know what a silly question that is.
But it's silly enough to warrant a very straightforward answer. Yes or no?
We all support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
You know what?
I'm
not going to waste my time anymore. You're not worthy of my attention or my questions. You're an embarrassment to this country. You're unfit to lead. and there's been bipartisan members of Congress that have called for your resignation. You should just get the hell out and let somebody competently lead this department.
What you just saw was not a tense back and forth. It was a complete exposure of Pete Hegseth's inability to function as the civilian leader of the U.S. military. Carbajal asked the simplest, most foundational questions any Secretary of Defense should be able to answer without hesitation. Are Marines ordered to protect property with force? Can they fire warning shots? Should the U.S. support Ukraine? Would you honor Article 5? Is political loyalty to Trump a requirement for service? These aren't trick questions. They're the baseline of the job. And yet Hegseth dodged, filibustered, recited talking points, and treated basic yes or no questions like hostile cross-examination, because answering directly would force him into accountability he has spent months avoiding. Carbajal's point was deeper than the words yes or no. He was highlighting the danger of a defense secretary who refuses to acknowledge errors, refuses to accept responsibility for transmitting classified information over signal with a journalist and family members, refuses to admit that deploying Marines for crowd control is improper and unprecedented, and refuses to separate military duty from personal loyalty to Donald Trump. And when confronted with documented misconduct, not rumors, not anonymous claims, but his own actions, Hegseth did what he always does: deny, deflect, or hide behind rehearsed patriotism. Carbajal's final words weren't emotional. They were factual. A Secretary of Defense who cannot give a straight answer, who treats constitutional obligations as political inconvenience, who jeopardizes service members' safety through unlawful communication channels, and who cannot meet even the lowest standard of accountability is not merely unqualified. He is a risk to the stability of the armed forces. This wasn't a partisan attack. It was a professional judgment, delivered by a Marine, exposing a truth Hegseth could not outrun. Leadership requires integrity, clarity, and accountability. And in this hearing, Hegseth showed he has none of the three. And the deeper truth is this: Pete Hegseth is not just incompetent. He is a walking disaster zone with the authority to unleash real-world destruction. The Venezuela boat strikes made that painfully clear. Under his watch, the Pentagon didn't just hit a suspicious vessel. It executed a second strike on shipwrecked men who were already wounded, floating in open water, unarmed, and incapable of posing any threat. That wasn't defense. That was escalation. That was cruelty masquerading as strategy. And it exposed a mindset far more dangerous than simple inexperience. A Secretary of Defense willing to use overwhelming force without oversight, without evidence, and without a single moment of restraint. A man who turns hesitation into hostility and mistakes into lethal precedent. When someone like that refuses accountability, refuses transparency, and refuses to answer even the most basic questions, the issue is no longer incompetence. It's the potential for mass destruction sitting in the highest seat of America's military. The hearing didn't just reveal flaws in Pete Hegseth's leadership. It revealed why he should never have been anywhere near the power to order a strike in the first place.